Hello, friends, and how are you doing this evening? I hope you're feeling well. I'm pretty good actually. Not too terrible this evening. I'm feeling, pretty good. A little tired. Had a long work day, and had some technical stuff I had to overcome today, which is par for the course for my line of work. But I'm gonna be okay. Let me just change the lighting here just a little bit. Glow off my dome was a little bit much, eh? I'm going to dim it down just a shade so that we're not blinding people. The idea is to make this peaceful and relaxing. Let me lower the chair so you can see the candle burning some 150-year-old beeswax, which does contain honey. And it does give off such a wonderful aroma. So I was able to get a few of my technical issues sorted out here this evening, I think. For the most part. Let's see. No, that's not what I wanted. See, things aren't working entirely correctly. I had some stuff working, and now they're not working. Sometimes technology fails me, and when it does, it can be quite troublesome. Oh, that's why I was pressing the wrong button. Oh, get it together, Paul. Get it together. Let me see here. Hang on a sec. I'll just make an adjustment here. Yeah, I do all these pre-checks, and yet when I go live, things are always going sideways on me. So let's see if the other camera is working. There we go. And this camera over here should also be working. Just testing out some stuff because my switcher wasn't actually doing what it was supposed to the last time, but I've got it fixed. I had to reprogram some things. And you can see how many times my nose has been broken from that angle, right? 3 times. And they're all 3 interesting stories, I can tell you that. Okay, so I hope everybody's doing pretty good. Like I said earlier, I'm a little tired. It's been a long day. Had a long Saturday. Got a lot accomplished, thankfully. And Sunday, of course, I went skiing, which was magnificent because the conditions were incredible, and it was just great to get out on the slopes for a bit. This is a magnificent tasting, believe it or not, non-alcoholic stout. Mocha stout from Groovy, Gruvi. I honestly, I would drink this every day. It's that good. It really is. I'm eager to try the Guinness 00. Right now my doctor has me on a 6 weeks no alcohol thing, so, Gruvi, Groovy. It's an outstanding beer. I really like it. And, it tastes like a proper stout. If you like a stout, that is. So, one second. Needed to clear my throat. I hope everybody that's able to join this evening is feeling good. I hope that this winter has not gotten you down too much. I know it's been a difficult winter because it's been so incredibly mild, which, I mean, in the grand scheme of things is not good. And I'm not one who loves the cold, but I do love winter, and I do need it to be cold enough so that, I can go skiing, skating on the canal, cross country or skiing, and it's not been great up until the last week, literally, when the weather decided to cooperate and provide us with enough snow that we could actually do winter sports on. So, you can color Uncle Paul happy. That being said, I think we had maybe a total of 3 sunny days in the month of January this year. possibly 4, but definitely no more than that. It really has been dark and dreary and overcast for the last month. Right? I mean, it's 30 days. This is the 30th, right? So it has been a month of dark and dreary times, which makes it really difficult on the soul. You're not getting the vitamin D, and your spirit gets a little bit crushed by the gloomy weather. No one likes that. No one enjoys it. And it always feels rather terrible. But there's not a ton we can do about the weather. I mean, nothing we can really do about it other than adapt and try and overcome it through meditation, thoughts, positive thoughts, breathing exercises, communicating with our friends and loved ones as much as we can. For those of us who do suffer from anxiety and sometimes depression, oftentimes the anxiety can limit your ability to live your life. As simple as just getting out of the house, going for a walk, getting some fresh air, calling somebody, calling a friend, texting somebody, meeting up for coffee or a beer or something. It can really destroy your life, because it really does rob you of the simple pleasures of life, getting up and enjoying simple things, because you tend to overthink every aspect of it. Oh, you don't know where you're going yet, Mikhail? Oh my goodness. That's not good, sir. That's terrible. I hope it works out for you. Yeah, my anxiety's been spiking a lot lately too. Luna's Closet. I love that name. It's been literally all over the map. Oh boy, that's not good, sir. Yeah, Saturday, I had planned on going skiing Saturday, and I went to bed at a relatively decent hour, a little bit later than normal, but nothing out of the ordinary for me. Fell asleep right away, but when I woke up, I was just exhausted. I thought, okay, let's get up and make some coffee and get the blood flowing, get some water, get some hydration happening. And I did that. Then I made something to eat. Then I started to get my ski equipment ready. Put on a layer of merino, the first layer. And I thought, I gotta lie down for a few minutes, like 20 minutes. I know it'll just push my ski time, but that's fine. I've got the whole weekend to myself, so it's not a big deal. So it was around, I think, 9:30. My goal was to get there for 10. I wanted to go earlier than that originally, but I had too much to do. Well, anyway, 9:30, I thought, I have to lie down for 30 minutes. I'll get there a little bit later. It'll be okay. So I lied down at 9:30 and I set my alarm for 30 minutes. 3 hours later, I woke up dazed and confused and barely able to function. It took me another 2 hours before I was human again. So I thought, well, I'll get out of the house and go for a walk, because skiing's not a possibility today. All my energy was gone. And if you have no energy and no strength, you don't want to try and careen down a mountain. It's really dangerous to do that. So I ended up going for a walk, and then I went over to the pub and I sat down and I had a single non-alcoholic beer. And then I came home and watched a movie and read for a little bit and then went to bed. And I felt okay at that point, but the anxious guilt that one feels when one plans to do something and then you don't end up doing it, maybe that's an Irish Catholic thing. Feeling guilty about not following through on the plans you made for yourself. It's very strange how the brain works. But I forgave myself because I needed the rest, clearly. And when you need the rest, you better take it. And I've learned to listen to my body at this age. When I get so tired that I absolutely need to lie down and rest. I just do it now. I don't ignore it. Sometimes it can be longer than you think you need, but that's probably the brain telling you that, dude, you've pushed too hard for too long and you just don't have it in you right now. You need to calm down, take a few deep cleansing breaths, and relax. And remember that tomorrow is another day. Things will get better. And they did. But it was kind of difficult for me to get through for a little while there. Oh, Elaine, you're going to have a little bit of a journey ahead of you there, eh? But look at it this way, you're doing much better now than you were a month ago, right? I know that you've had a tough go of it lately. But things are getting better. It's one day at a time, right? One foot in front of the other, baby steps. You know, you can throw out all of the cliches. Rome wasn't built in a day, one day at a time, baby steps, one foot in front of the other, keep moving forward. And they all make sense, especially when you're going through a struggle. You need to have a touchstone, a reminder that it's okay. I did more today than I did yesterday. Maybe what I did today wasn't a lot, but if it was more than yesterday, that's an accomplishment. That's a move in the right direction. And tomorrow, I plan to do more. Maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe you don't have the strength or the mental capacity to do more the following day. That's okay too. Try not to beat yourself up about it. I still beat myself up about it, and I'll continue to do that because that's how I'm wired. But I swear to you, I'm going to try not to do that anymore. I promise. Try. I know Yoda said there is no try, there is do or do not, but guess what? Yoda was a 3-foot puppet in a make-believe world. Sorry if anybody gets upset by that, but it's true. It is a good quote. But some days, you just can't do. So you try to do, and you fail. That's okay. You learn from the failure. And to that, I don't believe in failure. I don't. Because if you've learned something from the experience, that is a success. Wow, I had a hard time with that word. My computer fan just kicked in. I don't know why. You can probably hear that. Oh, hey, Elaine, that's a triumph. It really is. Presence of mind is important. It really is. Taking stock of what you have. And sometimes you think, I don't have anything. Well, if you have the ability to think and see, if you have, or let me back that up. Let me rephrase that. Because I don't want to leave anyone out. If you have the ability to think and communicate, because I think everyone has the ability to communicate, especially with some of the electronics that are available to us today. Some of the computer technologies, we can communicate like we never could before. And some of the technologies that we have has given voice to people who've never had a voice before. So if you can think and you can communicate, I think you're doing pretty good. And remember, it's not a failure. If you learn from something that didn't succeed, it's a success because you learned. I don't like the word failure. I really don't, because it doesn't have a place in this world as far as I'm concerned. Maybe I didn't win the race, but I didn't fail. I competed. And I learned that those people are much faster than me. If I want to get better, I'm going to have to run harder and faster and train more. I'm just creating an example is all. Every experience is a learning experience if you choose to look at it that way. So there is a sense of mind over matter in that case. Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Anyway, I'm trying to make sense of it all. Some days I really do struggle. It's been a difficult winter because, like I said, it's been oddly warm. I never know how to dress when I go outside lately. I have the typical Ottawa winter gear. The Ottawa winter usually has 4 distinct seasons. I'm not kidding. There's early winter, which is December, which can go from no snow, but very cold, to a little bit of snow, to very cold, to just very cold, but not extreme cold, just very cold, compared to what it was 2 weeks prior or 3 weeks prior. And then around Christmas time, it gets considerably colder, and it's usually minus 18, minus 20 degrees Celsius, so that would be about 0 for my American friends, which is par for the course at that time of the year. And at this time of the year, it's usually about minus 28 to minus 30, which I don't know what that would be in Fahrenheit, but well below 0. And it's lately been 0 or 2 degrees. I think tomorrow is going to be the first cold day in quite some time. It'll be minus 20, which will be a big shock to the system because we're not climatized to it lately. Ordinarily, if it gets to be minus 20 at this time of the year, it's like, ooh, it's warming up by 10 degrees tomorrow. I know that sounds funny, but it's true. Minus 28, minus 30 is cold. We've hit minus 40 a few times in the last couple of years. I have worked outside in minus 60 degrees Celsius with the wind chill. I think that's about minus 75 degrees Fahrenheit for my American friends, something like that. It's very, very cold. But what I'm trying to say is it's been such an up and down warm winter that I don't know how to dress for it. This would be known as the dead of winter, which is the second season of winter in Ottawa, where I have the heavy-duty winter clothes. I've got my big sheepskin coat, several layers of merino wool underwear, merino wool sweaters. Well, this is just a cotton t-shirt, but you get what I'm going at. Merino wool balaclava, several toques, all kinds of gloves. Take a pair of boots. You need 3 pairs of boots to get through the winter in Ottawa. Early winter, dead of winter, late winter. Late winter is late February when it'll get a week or 2 of melt. So you need boots that are waterproof because it's water everywhere, and then it gets cold again, and we get a snowstorm in March. And then when everything starts to melt, we get another snowstorm late March, early April, and then everything melts in 2 weeks. You need 4 sets of clothes to get through an Ottawa winter. And this winter, I don't know what to wear, and it's messing with my head. I know that sounds strange, but when you're used to something being one way your whole life, and then it suddenly rapidly changes, it's difficult to adjust to. Sounds like I'm complaining that it's warm this January. I'm not, but it's just messing with my head. Oh, that's cold in Dallas, my goodness. Minus 16 with wind chill, or 16 degrees wind chill Fahrenheit. That's cold in Dallas because Dallas is not built for cold weather. It's built for hot weather. That's got to be really tough because most people don't have the clothing required to survive that type of weather, let alone heat or proper insulation in their homes for that sort of thing. I mean, a lot of homes will be insulated to keep the cool air in the summertime, but it's a different type of insulation to keep warm air in, and many people don't have a central heating system, let alone insulated pipes, so pipes will freeze. Yeah, that's bad, man. I'm feeling for you. Well, stay off the roads then, my friend, because as somebody who's driven in many a snowstorm, and I do know how to do it. Thing is, I'm not worried about myself. It's every other driver on the road. And there's usually No, your infrastructure isn't built for it. It really isn't. I have very often passed by big four-wheel drive SUVs in the ditch while I'm going puttering on by in my little Honda Civic with all-season radials. It's because these guys will think, well, I've got four-wheel drive and anti-slip and anti-this and anti-that and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you do, but ICE doesn't care about any of that. I've seen $80,000, $100,000 trucks spin right out in front of me because they don't know how to drive in this weather. And the computer can only react so quickly, and it doesn't react quickly enough. So please, if you don't have to drive, stay off the roads. Kind of went off on a tangent there, didn't I? Wasn't really talking about mental health, but it is winter, and it can be a difficult time of the year for all of us. Especially Mikhail, you guys must really be suffering there, man. Ice is the great equalizer, Wade. You are correct. It doesn't matter what you... The bigger the truck, the further distance you'll slide. And when it gets to a stop, it's a rough one, usually. I have a 5-speed Honda Civic, so front-wheel drive. So slow the engine down, gearing down, pump the brakes. Have the ABS, but anyway. As I was saying, it has been a very strange winter, and it's been difficult to climatize my mental health to. I simply don't know how to react. I want to get out. I was out for a walk earlier, and there's an outdoor rink right across the street from me. There was a bunch of people out playing hockey. I thought, yeah, I should put the skates on and come out with a stick and walked back into my apartment and sat down on the couch for a couple minutes before I sat down to prep for this and thought, I do not have the energy for that right now. I am physically exhausted. I do have, what do they call it, a SAD light, S-A-D-E, light, seasonal affective disorder electronic light. It's supposed to represent sunshine. You can turn it on first thing in the morning and sit in front of it for about 15 minutes. And it will certainly help to lift your spirits, but not immediately. It does work, Alan. But you need to use it every day for a couple of weeks before you start to really notice it. And it's slow, gradual change. So it's not like that. So as a result, when you're using it, you might not realize how well it's working until one day all of a sudden you realize, hey, wait a minute. I feel good about myself today. I'm not tired. I'm not depressed. I have a spring in my step. And that's sort of like a light bulb moment when that happens. When you come to the realization like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not in pain anymore. Because it's a very slow, incremental change every day. And then one day you just realize you're not hurting. It's kind of like heartbreak, you know? It hurts and it hurts and it hurts for a very long time, and then one day it just doesn't hurt as much anymore. Heartbreak, like trauma or grief, never leaves. But eventually it gets drowned out to the point where it no longer rules your life. It no longer takes so much away from you that you have the energy to get out of bed and take on your day. I will eventually talk about trauma. I, like everybody, have trauma. I've dealt with a lot of it in therapy. And I will discuss it at some point, but I'm not ready to be just quite that candid yet. There's some things you need to really think over before you release them into the world. And someday I may do that. I haven't I haven't decided if I for sure will or not, but maybe I will. Like I said, I've dealt with it. The trauma still remains, but it's not like a sledgehammer to the forehead anymore. It's barely a mosquito bite. It's a minor nuisance. And it takes a long time to fully deal with it. And truth be told, I don't think you ever 100% deal with trauma, but you can learn how to cope with the ramifications of the trauma. You can learn how to rebuild your life and become a better person from the trauma. Everybody has it. Whether or not you choose to act upon it, be proactive about trying to deal with it is another thing. Sometimes many of us don't want to admit to the trauma because we would feel lesser of ourselves if we did so. And, we have to learn to forgive ourselves because a traumatic event is nothing really to do with you, in the sense that oftentimes a traumatic event happens to you. It's not always something that you did. As a matter of fact, it's rarely something that you did. It's almost always something being done to you. And once you can come to terms with that, once you can come to the realization that it's not your fault, well, then you can begin to heal. And it's a long journey. And how much healing you're willing to do is entirely up to you. I'm not a therapist. Just trying to relay a sense of what I've felt throughout my life. Trying to explain some of my experiences and how I've been able to get through and cope. I've had a lot of dark days, man. A lot of dark days. Some darker than others. And a lot of dark thoughts. Let's put it that way. I don't want to get too deep into it tonight. But I always knew I was in control of the thought. Well, no, I was in control of the actions. Whether I acted upon those thoughts or not was entirely up to me. I was in control of that. Not everyone is capable of realizing that. And I've lost a lot of friends because they couldn't help but react to the thought. You know what I'm talking about, right? And sadly, they're no longer with us. And that's heartbreaking. And I remember about 10 years ago when I lost a friend to depression. We hadn't seen each other in a long time, but we communicated online. And some of the photos she had posted and some of the things she had said led me to believe that she was dealing with severe depression. And I did not know how to approach her about it. And she's not with us anymore, and that's sad. She had a son, and he's not done well since that time. But I've learned to come to grips with that moment in time because I felt guilty, thinking I should have done more. I talked to a therapist about it. She's like, there was nothing you could have done other than offer kindness and friendship and an ear to listen. She didn't want to talk about it. You can't force somebody to. Hopefully, if you know somebody in your life that's suffering, you can have them open up to you, have them talk with you, have them discuss with you what they're feeling, or what works for me when I'm in the depths of the darkness, I will just call up a friend and said, we have to go for a drink. That's it. He knows not to ask any questions. We just go to the pub, we sit, and we talk about anything but what's in my head. They call that compartmentalization. And it helps because when you're sitting home alone, thank you, Mikhail, sitting home alone thinking about that nonstop for hours on end, you don't want to talk about it. You just want to think or talk about anything else in this world. And thankfully, I have a few people in my life who I can just say, hey, not good. Let's go for a drink. And the distraction is enough to, for me, I don't recommend this method for anybody, but this is what works for me. The distraction from the darkness gives me a chance to clear my head and have healthier thoughts. And, there we go. Have healthier thoughts, happier thoughts. And as a result, I'm able to get to a slightly better place. And sorry, I'm just trying to adjust this light here. There we go. I can get to a better place. And once I'm in that better place, I can deal with the bad thoughts, the negative thoughts, the dark thoughts, the terrible things. And then I can talk about it. I don't know, does that make sense to anybody? It's what works for me. I don't know, I can't recommend anything to anybody, but I can tell you what works for me. And if it works for me, maybe it could work for you. I can't say whether it would or it wouldn't, but maybe it could work for you. Maybe it could help to make your life a little bit better. I'm not necessarily saying go to a pub, maybe go to a park and sit and walk with a friend or talk with a friend on a park bench, or go to a movie, or just go and sit and talk with somebody in their home. Do what you need to do to get yourself to a better place without harming yourself. That's the important thing. Don't harm yourself. Take the time for yourself to heal. Take the time for yourself to breathe. Take the time for yourself to remember that although this is horrible and the suffering is brutal, it is only temporary. It's easy for me to say because I'm not suffering right now. And when you're in the middle of an anxiety episode or a panic attack or an anxiety attack, whatever you want to call it, label it whatever you will. A second feels like a minute feels like an hour, and an hour feels like a day. You can sit there and go, okay, I gotta get through this, I gotta get through this, I gotta get through this. Oh my God, it's been so long. It's been 2 minutes. It felt like 2 hours. Your mind is racing, your heart is racing, and you can't calm down. And you don't remember to breathe. And you don't remember to tense and then release. Deep breaths, and then tense up and relax. If you can do those things, they will help quell a panic attack, an anxious episode, an anxiety attack. They will help to quell it. It's not instant, but you will feel it after doing some deep breathing exercises. Breathe in, hold it, take a very deep breath in, hold it for 3 to 5 seconds, breathe all the way out until there's no air left in your lungs, and then repeat the process 10 to 15 times. Slow, deep breaths. And as you inhale, Clench your muscles, tense all of your muscles up. And when you exhale, relax your muscles, every muscle in your body, from your legs, your calves, your quads, your hamstrings, your arms, your back, your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. Clench everything as you inhale, and as you exhale, relax everything. You can do that 10 to 15, even 20 times if necessary. You will feel a sense of deep relaxation. You won't notice it immediately until you realize, wait a minute, my heart's no longer racing, and my mind seems to have calmed down. And the caffeine jitterbuzz that I felt, that's gone too. And that, my friends, will make you feel much better. I feel better. I hope you do too. I do have to go. I thank you for joining me this evening. I have a few things I need to attend to this evening, but I'll be back here next Monday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to chat with you. And hopefully next Monday I can give you a little bit more time. Schedule is pretty busy these days, but I do what I can. You're very welcome, Ellen. Good night, DaCosta. Mikhail, I hope you find a good place to live and a warm place to be, and a job soon. Have a great week. I will see you next Monday. Take care.